Worry lines can run deep. With increasing commodity prices, higher price volatility, and rising input costs, America's farmers rely on crop insurance to protect their crops and livestock. Crop insurance.
Congressman, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been up here now representing the 1st Congressional District of Arkansas. You're in your 3rd month. What have you learned about this process and this place so far?
Well, it's the old saying that you've heard people say for years, there are 2 things you don't want to watch being made. That's sausage and laws. And now I've gotten an up close personal glimpse of it, and I think that there's probably something to that. It's you probably just appreciate the end process better, because it's a process. There's no question about it. But you can't discount the historic nature of this. It's to me, and I'm kind of a history buff, and I'm still amazed at just being surrounded by all this history, that walking back and forth. I try to not take the tunnel. I try to walk outside every opportunity, because I think that just sort of reminds me why I'm here. And all the statues and the placards that you see in various locations, it's really hard to not pay attention to that and feel a sense of responsibility. And so in that sense, I really, it's great to be here.
You were in the same business that I'm in. Why did you decide to run for Congress?
Well, as you know, in the 1st District of Arkansas, it's agriculture, and I just, saw our country going in a direction I didn't want to go in, and I thought, agriculture has been somewhat of a stabilizing influence in the economy over the years. I mean, when the general economy is slumping, sometimes the ag economy is in great shape, and that's kind of the way it is right now. I mean, the ag economy overall is not nearly as distressed as the general economy, but it just, from a broader sense, I just felt compelled to not just help farmers, but try to do something to help not only our district, but our state and our country, and I just felt like I was in a good position to do it.
And what did your constituents send you up here to do? If you had to name 1 or 2 things.
Well, I'll be honest with you. One of the primary things that we heard from our constituents was repeal national health care law, which we did in the House. Now, I have to remind people that the House is one of 3 levers in the legislative process. So, we'll do everything that we can do within the limits of what we can do. But beyond that, then the Senate has to take action, and then ultimately the President has to take action. So there's a limit to what we can do. Certainly act on good faith and do what people sent us up here to do, and hopefully they'll see that for what it is that we're acting on their instructions.
Has serving on the Ag Committee met your expectations thus far?
It has. We've had several hearings, and I find it fascinating to watch, particularly some of the senior members who've been here a while, that really know how to extract the information they're trying to get out of some of the witnesses. It's not all pleasant. Last week we had the EPA administrator in. It was a lengthy hearing, interrupted one time by a series of votes. She stayed throughout the entire day, and to her credit, obviously, that was a marathon session. But ultimately, what that was an equal opportunity bashing. It was not it was a bipartisan. I think without exception, everybody was concerned about the overreach to EPA, and ultimately that was the basis from which they worked to question the administrator. So that was quite an experience.
Tell me something about Representative Rick Crawford that we don't know. For instance, someone approaches you for the first time. What about you is there we don't know?
I was pretty straight up with my bio in the campaign. A lot of people don't know that I'm a former rodeo cowboy, and I wasn't any good at it, so I became a rodeo announcer. And that really kind of opened the doors to broadcasting for me, because that was, as a rodeo announcer, I got to work into television, and that I became a farm broadcaster as a result of that. A lot of people don't know the path that I took to become a farm broadcaster, and that's really where it started, was the rodeo business. But at one time I was an aspiring musician and was working for a rodeo company in Nashville, Tennessee, and spent some time over there, tried to get a record deal and failed at that. It's not being a failure isn't failing. It's, I guess, failing to try. I mean, so I always just continue to try and move on to the next challenge. But
don't be too hard on yourself there, Congressman.
well, one of the other things that generally attracts some attention when people find this out is I was a bomb disposal tech in the Army, and so when people hear that, they say, well, hey, you're in really good shape to go take on the challenges in Washington. But here you figuratively you have to be careful what wires you cut. So some similarities there.
Arkansas 1st District Congressman, Republican Rick Crawford. Congressman, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.